Well, hey, Teen Bickle. Today we're going to talk about habit number 3. And habit number 3 is to put first things first. And I have this book, Froggy Bakes a Cake. That's a great way to show habit number 3. There's Froggy there. So when we look at a book, we look at the picture and we're like, I wonder what it's going to be about. And here you have Froggy, and he has a bowl where he's stirring things up. Oh, but look, oh my goodness, look at the floor. Oh no, there's something spilling. Well, let's get busy. So the title is Froggy Bakes a Cake, and it's written by Jonathan London, who is the author, and the author is the one that writes the words. And it's illustrated by Frank Remkowitz, if I said that right. And the illustrator is the one that draws the pictures. So the illustrator draws these beautiful pictures. The author writes the story and the words. So Froggy Bakes a Cake. It was Froggy's mother's birthday. Froggy was outside making mud pies. Froggy, called his father. What? Help me bake a cake for your mother. So look at that. His dad's looking out the window saying, help me bake a cake for your mom. Oh, please, cried Froggy. I wanted to do it all by myself. So Froggy flopped into the kitchen, flop, flop, flop. You'll need flour, said his father, and sugar and chocolate. I know, cried Froggy, and he pushed his chair against the counter and climbed on up. So he just says he knows he's going to go get that. Oh, he took down the flour. He took down the sugar. He took down the chocolate candy his mother had hidden since Halloween. We needed lots of flour and sugar, said Froggy, and he dumped a large bag of flour and a whole box of sugar into a big yellow bowl. We had lots and lots of chocolate, said Froggy, and he dumped in 10 handfuls of chocolate. Well, look, he's making a cake, but I wonder, is he following a plan on how to make a cake? Does anybody know what that plan's called on when you cook? It's a recipe. Yes, you usually follow instructions for a recipe, but he seems to be just throwing everything in there. So let's see. It says, we need milk too, said Froggy's father. I know, cried Froggy, and he flopped to the fridge, flop, 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 and grabbed a carton of milk. Oops, it dropped on his feet and spilled. And eggs and butter, added his father. I know, cried Froggy. He snatched a carton of eggs. Oops, he only broke 4 or 5. So as he's so excited getting all these things, these ingredients to make his cake, ingredients are the things that go in it. As he's all excited, he's not paying attention to keeping things clean. Look at that. And then he says, right down here, he says, and just 1 stick of butter fell on the floor. So down here, he's got all the stuff. Everything's falling everywhere. Is he thinking about being clean while he's at? What do you think his mother's going to think when he's being so messy? Don't forget the baking powder, said his father. I know, cried Froggy, and he climbed up and took down the baking powder. Then he cracked 7 eggs into the bowl. Crack, 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 crack. And only a few shells fell in. And he put in the butter, bloop, and poured in the milk, glub, glub, glub. And finally, he dumped in the whole box of baking powder, shloop. Time to mix it all together, said his father. I know, cried Froggy, and he stirred it and slopped it and mixed it and plopped it. Then he dumped all the goopy cake batter into the cake pan and shoved the cake into the oven, and he sang, oogly boogly blooberly blake, I make and I bake and I wait for the cake. So there they go. Okay, now it looks pretty good right now. Right now, that's looking pretty good how he's pouring it into there. So let's see. Oh, they're ready for Mom. Froggy, called his father. What? While you wait for the cake to bake, help me blow up the balloons. Froggy helped blow up the balloons. He blew, and he blew, and he blew, and he blew, and pop! Now, said his father, help me set the table. Froggy helped set the table. Oops! He knocked over the lemonade and the paper party tablecloth got all wet. So is Froggy thinking about being careful? I think that might be the thing that might be the first thing he needs to think about. He's so excited, but he's got to slow down and be careful. That would be like putting first things first. Froggy, called his mother. What? What smells so good? She's out here doing some gardening, planting some plants. It's a surprise, yelled Froggy, and he flopped back to the kitchen. Flop, flop, flop. Come and get it, hollered Froggy. Froggy's mother and father flopped in and slid across the buttery floor, and Froggy said, Are you ready? And opened the oven door. Oh, no. See, he wasn't careful putting first things first, and he wasn't making safe choices that now Mom and Dad are slipping on the slippery mess on the floor. He didn't clean it up. Yikes, the cake exploded. Yelped Froggy's father. Yelped Froggy's father, sorry. Oops, cried Froggy, looking more red in the face than green. Too much baking powder, I guess. Look at the cake. Because he didn't follow that recipe. He's got to follow the steps on how to make it. But I don't think it's going to ruin their day. It's good, though, said his father, licking his fingers. He says it's still yummy, even though it's a mess. Wait, cried Froggy. I'll be right back. Flop, 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 flop. Happy birthday, Mom, he said, and he handed her a fresh mud pie with a candle in it. I made it all by myself. Look, it's a mud pie. I think frogs might like mud, too. Oh, Froggy, said his mother, this is the best birthday pie I've ever had. What a mess, said Froggy's father. He's laughing over here. They're all having fun. Let's go out to celebrate. Great, said Froggy. Yes, said Froggy's mother. And together they leapfrogged all the way to the bakery. Flop, flop, flop. So when Froggy, how this has to do with habit number 3 of putting first things first, is when Froggy was so excited to make the cake, he just thought about making the cake. And he just went, and he tried to do everything really quick, and he made big messes, and then the cake exploded. I mean, they still ended up happy. It was fine because he's learning. But he needed to slow down and think about what things he needed to do first. What were his big rocks? That's called big rocks. Now, if you're not sure what big rocks is, I have this jar right here. And look at this. I have a big rock. Now, the big rock right here, I'm going to put it in this jar. And see, and what I'm looking is I have a whole pile of rocks right here. See my whole pile of rocks? Some are big, some are little. Well, my pile of rocks shows all the things I have to do. And right now, like beginning of school is a very busy time for teachers. So I have to do what's called prioritize. Everybody say prioritize. Again, prioritize. See, that's like the beat. It's like the syllables. Prioritize. Very good. So prioritize means I need to put first things first. And that means I need to figure out what's the most important thing to get done first. So I put my big rocks, these are my rocks, in the jar. There's another big one. Oh, there's another big one. Let me see. Okay. Is it full yet? No, it's not full. So what I have to do is now I get my other rocks. like this. Oh, let me see if I can show you. They're kind of medium. And I'm going to put them in. Ooh, maybe here's some more medium rocks. I'm going to get some more, a handful of medium rocks. They're not as big as my big rocks, you can see. Not as big. I'm going to put them in. Now, is it full yet? No. See, I get those big rocks done first. And then what I do in the end is I take all my little rocks, all that other stuff I needed to do, and I'm putting it in my jar. Oh, I still got all the other little stuff, but the good thing is I don't have to stress or worry. I prioritized, and I got I got my big rocks done first. And since my big rocks were done first, look at this. I now have a nice full jar and a happy me because I prioritized. I did my big rocks first. If I tried to put my little rocks in first and then fit my big rock, it may not fit all in the jar to get done. See, a full jar means I got everything done and I prioritized and did everything so I would be a happy teacher. Then that means prioritize means put those big rocks first. What's the most important? So in school, what's the most important? You've got listening. Yeah, you want to listen to your teacher, actively listen. You want to do your work. That's right. You want to try your best. Those are all big rocks. Those are things you want to come school ready, have, been awake and ready. You want to get a good night's sleep. You want to eat right. And be in a quiet place in your house and be calm and patient and follow the rules. So all of those are some things that you could do for school. Now you have a worksheet that you can do, and if you don't have a printer, you can simply have a parent kind of draw it. But it's a picture of a boy or a girl holding up a big rock. Now on that big rock, I want you to have your parent helper write, what is the big rock that you're going to do for school? What is the main thing you think you want to practice and do and get better at? Now, all of you are awesome in my book, but maybe you feel like you need to get better at trying to stay in your work area. Maybe you need to get better at doing your work when your mom says it's time. It's the time that Miss Bickle said for you to do your work. Maybe you need to get better at actively listening. Maybe you need to get better at learning the computer. Okay, it could be anything. So talk about it with somebody at your house, and then you can color the picture. All right. So prioritize. Put first things first. See you later.